Welcome to the 2011 Wisconsin Adidas Invitational, a race that many people have been waiting for. This is probably the fastest, deepest race you will see in a long time. I'm Ryan Fenton here with Alex Lohr. Alex, how many ranked teams do we got here?
We have 21 ranked teams. I'm going to give you a quick rundown. We have number 2 Wisconsin, number 4 Stanford, number 6 BYU, 7 Indiana, number 9 NC State, 10 Oregon, 13 Northern Arizona, 14 Princeton, 16 Georgetown, 17 Minnesota, 18 Columbia, 19 Villanova, 21st Syracuse, 22nd UCLA, 23rd Arizona State, 24th Providence, 25th New Mexico, 26th Michigan, 27th Texas A&M, 28th Florida, and 29th North Carolina.
I kind of blacked out in the middle there. That was quite a bit.
I don't know what just happened. Are we still here? Where am I?
This is, like we said, a very, very deep race as the field's starting to, I don't want to say string out, but it's bunched up and packed together. Mo Ahmed of Wisconsin up front, Lawi Lalang, probably the favorite of this race, and Diego Estrada, a guy who's showed us some strong will there at the Oklahoma State Jamboree a couple weeks ago. Very strong field.
Definitely, yeah. Diego's going to be one of the favorites up there, and you're going to see Lawi Lalang. We saw him throw down at Griak, so a very tight-knit group right now, and lots of competitors in there, and it's anybody's race right now.
Yeah, and speaking of Griak, that's Minnesota, and 2:53 through the K. You see Hassan Mead from Minnesota up there. We talked to him yesterday. He's excited to be here, hoping his team has some good results. Right next to him on the left side, Miles Beatty, and a little to the left of him, you see in the red, Ryan Hill, a guy we should look out for. So tight pack, as we said, and it's narrowed up since that start.
Definitely. The guys, a lot of emotions running wild as things are starting to get reeled in a little bit as the course narrows up here.
Lawi Lalang looking at his watch, and little ways from the mile here. But who are you excited to see here? Obviously, Wisconsin, we're going to see how strong they are. Stanford, this is their first real test. And Indiana, I see a team we've talked about, but hasn't really shown the hype that I gave them early.
Right. There's a lot of big matchups in there. That Wisconsin, Indiana, it's a Great Lakes Big Ten matchup. Huge. And then right now you're kind of seeing a little bit of yellow in there. A big debut for Mr. Lukas Verzbicas right there in second for Oregon. And we'll see how his first race goes as we cruise through the first men's mile. It's 4:47 through the first mile, and I believe Lawi Lalang has taken hold of the lead.
Yeah, you mentioned Lukas Verzbicas. A lot of people have been waiting to see how this guy will fare against a field like this. He's the best, arguably the best ever high schooler to come out of the U.S. and national records at 2-mile, sub 4-minute mile. He's now a world junior cross champion, or excuse me, triathlon champion. And it'll be interesting to see how he does here as we get a good look at the pack now starting to string out just before 2K.
Yeah, Lukas obviously not afraid to get after it a little bit out there. He was definitely duking it out with some of the biggest names in American distance running. It's pretty impressive as we get on tight little turn. Oh! Somebody got trampled in there in Illinois. He's getting up.
Yeah, there's been some falls. There might have been some falls earlier on in this race too. But the one guy who's not in danger right now is Lawi Lalang. That distance continues to grow up front. And
maybe that was his plan of attack. We kind of saw him do this at Griak. He gets almost like a 100-yard lead. It's not quite that now, but he gets this huge gap, and then he just, boom, sticks it at that pace and is comfortable running out by himself.
And looks so smooth. We saw him do a lot. We talked about his range, sub 4 minutes in the mile, 13:30 in the 5K. This guy can do a lot of things. And now another guy, tough guy out there, a sub 13:30 guy, Chris Derrick, leading that chase group with Diego Estrada and Hassan Mead. Remember that 5K a couple years ago with Derrick, Fernandez, Mead? That was a battle. And Evan Jager.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Through the men's 3K, that's 8:43. Chris Derrick is a former junior 5K national record holder, so you can never count him out. The chase pack comes through in 8:53, so it's got to be tough. Diego Estrada is coming off a lot of momentum. He knows he's in good shape, but he's got to hold back a little bit. It's got to be tough not to go after Lawi, but it looks like Lawi might be in a little bit of better fitness right now.
Yeah, and this is a good shot right here. You can get a real sense of what that gap is right now as Lawi Lalang comfortably in the lead. And we'll run through the field here. Estrada, Derrick, Hassan Mead. There's Riley, Beatty, the 2 from Oregon. Texas A&M's got 1. There's Cabral. There was 5 Wisconsin. And there's a 3rd Oregon right there, Parker Stinson.
Yeah, great for Parker Stinson. A sophomore. He's got a year under his belt at Oregon, and he's running really well up front there.
Jim.
Back to this pack that's stringing out. This is, again, the chase group behind Lawi Lalang, Luke Verzbicas and Lukas Verzbicas. Luke Verzbicas, a two-time top 10 finisher at the NCAA championships. Now, Don Cabral, Princeton right there, he was the champ here last year. But now we're looking at Wisconsin, and that is a tight group. There's no question who is winning this race right now. Wisconsin Badgers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back in about 10th to 15th.
Yeah, we talked to Coach McBurn a little bit, and this is what he wants his Badgers doing, running together. And why wouldn't they? They know this course. They can stay comfortable, and it's just pretty impressive that they don't get overhyped here on their own home course.
You know who would have the best 1-2 in the country? That would be Arizona. I can't say much about their 3, 4, and 5, but Steven Sambu, Lawi Lalang's teammate, redshirting this year, so we won't see him. He was right up there with Mr. Sam Chalanga last year, second place at the national championships. So once they have both of them next year, if they can get a couple others, man, that team has some potential. But Lawi Lalang right now still just killing it as we come through the next split, 4K 11:33.
Yeah, Coach James Lee has a ton of talent down there in Tempe, and I would love to see it work out with some of those guys getting after it.
Now here we go. The group still up front with some big names there. Some 5Kers, indoor mile champion Ryan Hill, we mentioned him earlier. Here's a good shot of Lukas Verzbicas. He looks pretty smooth right there. I mean, he's got a smooth running stride right behind his teammate there. Nice there working together, and there Cabral off the pack a little bit.
Yeah, I remember Cabral in, I believe it was the steeple prelims at Outdoor. He took a really hard fall and was all fired up, and he came back to qualify, and he was second in the final. So he's a tough guy, really strong runner. So look out for him.
This is probably the toughest hill, if you want to call it that, of the whole course here, as we have Texas A&M there, and again back to Wisconsin. The Badgers here looking very good, and from BYU, that's their second guy again.
I believe it's Rex Shields is their second guy right now, and BYU is they're on the Mountain West. They're ranked high. They're running at altitude. They had a great day at Notre Dame too, so they're looking to prove that wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, very good team we saw Ed Eyestone last week at the Chicago Marathon, and he was excited for this weekend, so they're going to see how tough they are right now. And some development here. Look at this. Lukas Verzbicas fading back in the last 200 meters. He was just with Luke Verzbicas, his teammate, and now back there with getting eaten up by those Wisconsin guys. There's Beatty with the group up front, and now Lalang all alone.
Man, people are detonating behind him on that hill. It was like the 100-meter lead just wasn't enough for him. He really put the hammer down and actually put a little grimace into that hill. You don't see Lawi put much effort into his stride, but he definitely put the hammer down a little bit on that hill, and people are feeling it.
There you see Lucas with that Wisconsin pack fading. There's Jordan Chippengama, former 5th place finisher 2 years ago at the NCAAs. And there's Craig Lutz, Ryan Donor from Texas. So they got two up there. They were 26th and 27th right there. So look out for them. And I see Kyle Merber in the headband.
Oh, Kyle Merber representing Columbia, and then a lot of Indiana Hoosier red in there, kind of in the middle of the pack. I don't know if they were hoping to be this far back at this point in the race.
Zach Ornell is here from Michigan, a near Austin resident. So what's up, Zach? Also saw Ty McCormick from Clemson, my alma mater. Give a shout out there. But this is the pack strung out a little bit before the 5K.
All right, now Lawi. I mean, we've talked about his stride before, but man, look at that. I mean, the elbows are low, they're tucked in. I mean, not a lot of tough grimacing, and he's not working too hard right now. 14:32 to 5K, cruising.
And it looks like the lead hasn't grown too much right now. I mean, you see he has a comfortable lead up there as we go back to the chase group here to see their 5K split, 14:50, still with 3, 6, 7, 8 guys right there. So that's pretty much your top 10. And now Wisconsin coming through probably just a little under 15 minutes for their whole pack.
Oh, looking very strong there for Wisconsin. They're getting a lot of motivation from the crowd here. And then is that Parker Stinson right there in the front of that chase pack?
Yeah, Parker Stinson you saw now in front of his teammate Lukas Verzbicas, and tucked in behind Parker Stinson was Craig Lutz, who we just saw back in 26th place. So Lutz is moving up right now and running against the guy he used to run against in high school.
Hey, he goes all that way and comes right back to duking it out with the same guys. He might be moving faster than anybody on the field other than Lawi right now.
Lawi Lalang coming down the hill, and he's going to go back into the finger loops one more time. His next split will be the 6K, and man, this guy, you know, right when you think you're going to lose out on a great, when Sammy Chalanga leaves the NCAA, another guy steps in, and it shows you there's always someone else coming up. There's always someone else to push those marks to better times, to become even faster champion. And
again, like you said earlier, he's technically cross-country wise, he is only a freshman. What are we going to see from him, and how good can he be? Can he hold this for the rest of the season? You got to think he's obviously the favorite right now.
So that was the 3:05 for his last 3K, or excuse me, 1K. So that's probably the slowest split so far, as Chris Derrick and Jake Riley are 2-3 right now. Still Hassan Mead right there. It's great to see Hassan Mead healthy. He's gone through injuries. He's gone through collapsed lungs. The guy's gone through so much, and he's still here fighting. Miles Beatty right there, the miler, showing some great range here in cross country.
Yeah, Miles Beatty, he got the W at Notre Dame not too long ago, some serious depth. And back to Hassan Mead, I mean, he was 16th in 2009 at NCAA Cross, so you know he's got the talent to be here 2 years later.
And Lukas Verzbicas fading a little bit from the pack as he checks out. Look at the camera there. It looks a little showmanship. And here's Wisconsin, and Lutz still moving up. This is pretty impressive for the freshman. Little bumping and rubbing there. He said, "Hey, Froshy, watch out for our Wisco Badgers." And Lutz says, "Fine, I will. I'll take off."
Hey, rubbing is racing, Ryan, and got to give it to Mr. Lutz. He is a tough guy, tough as nails, going to get in there and get after it.
This is, he's all of a sudden putting his name in there for the Flo Frosh right here of the year, because he's leading the freshman charge today after Lukas Verzbicas has faded. And there you go, BYU's number 2.
Yeah, and I think BYU's number 2, that Rex, he was born in Alaska. He's like he's a 2-mile champ from Utah, so a lot of background in there. And but man, like you said, Lutz is definitely moving, has a better turnover than almost anybody right now.
Lawi Lalang up front, going through the 7K, and not too much more to go now. 1K to go for Lawi Lalang, and it looks like it's going to be a comfortable win for him, as that pack behind him is starting to string out. Jake Riley's fading a little bit. Ryan Hill off the edge there. Luke Verzbicas battles back up in the mix. He's right behind Miles Beatty now. Don Cabral fighting to stay up in front of that group, and he is just off of Chris Derrick and Diego Estrada, but we also forgot Hassan Mead right there, so it's really stringing out.
It has strung out, and you know, Ryan Hill's kind of creeping on the back there. He had a great straightaway kick in Griak, so you wonder what he's got left. But then another guy like Cabral, they got some serious legs, some serious strength there. So it's gonna be a battle here.
Ryan Hill is I want to say a quiet kicker, because I remember he outkicked a bunch of guys indoor in the 3K at Washington, took down German Fernandez and all these guys. Alan Webb, I think, was in that race, and really just a guy that this past indoor season and into outdoor showed a lot of things. And you mentioned that Griak race, as we were looking at Lawi Lalang still leading that way. Diego Estrada now pulling away, but you know, Hill's pretty far back here, and we only have about, I don't know, 600 meters to go, but we've seen it before.
I would count him out. I would not count him out. Coming on the home stretch now, Lawi Lalang looks like he's, you know, grimacing a little bit. He's got a little bit of grit there, but it's too late for anybody to catch him.
So Chris Derrick now fading back from Estrada. I would have thought to see him down there, and as we mentioned,
it's hot. There goes Ryan Hill.
Ryan Hill taking off. Hassan Mead trying to go with him. Hassan Mead and Chris Derrick have battled before, but Ryan Hill looks like he wants to take that 3rd spot, and here comes the big DC, Don Cabral, the returning champ. I don't think he's going to win this one today, but he is going to have a great showing.
Man, what a machine. Just pushing up that hill.
And here's your champ, Lawi Lalang of Arizona, 23-10, your 2011 Wisconsin Adidas Invite champion. Here's the home team starting to come down that home stretch with Rex. That was Lutz there. Here's Parker Stinson in that top 20, looking good.
Wow, great showing for him. Here comes, that's Diego Estrada and Ryan Hill. Oh, I think Ryan Hill got him on the lean there.
And here comes Don Cabral, Hassan Mead, Chris Derrick, Miles Beatty. That top 10 right there. I think that's about 8th where Beatty is. And here's Jake Riley. This is a super, super strong field. Luke Verzbicas. Rex now coming in. Look at that. The W's from Wisconsin. Lutz breaking up that 5 from Wisconsin. BYU now has the 3rd in there. Parker Stinson finishes at 18th. That was Jared Ward, the sophomore from BYU. They're number 3. There's Ross Millington from Mexico as we go back towards the top of that final straightaway.
There's some Indiana guys starting to trickle in there, and I think BYU's knocking out the rest of their 5, so good for them.
Texas had another there. It was Ryan Donor, the Flo Frosh last year. See again Merber with that headband looking around. Craig Voorhees. This is about your top 40 or so. So this is where the team battle is going to come into play, as we're going to sort out through some points here. And as we look, there's Mr. Lukas Verzbicas, after a strong start, fades back a little bit. He'll learn a lot from this first race.
Yeah, you got to give it to him. He went out there and went after it, but that last 3K, he was definitely feeling the hurt. Team scores. Wisconsin takes the W at their home course, 66 to BYU's 120, Stanford 125.
So a big separation there from Stanford at 3 to Princeton, 125 to 227. And some surprises there. I saw Texas sitting in that number 6 spot. Texas Longhorns, pretty impressive stuff. We mentioned BYU. It looks like they are the real deal this year as they finish in that 2nd spot. But Princeton had a good showing at 4. And another surprise, Minnesota finishes in 7th. So a lot going on here today.
Man, points being thrown all over the place. Colas calculator is going to be interesting. How does this all stack up regionally? You never know, man.
I see Oregon finishes back in 14th place. You didn't expect to see them that far back, but haven't run all their guys this year. At least we don't know what their top 5 is going to be.
I have a feeling that Vin is not worried. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to peak the kids.
So that was your 2011 Wisconsin Adidas Invitational men's 8K, and we will let you sort through these finishers here, and we will see you in a few weeks. Conference weekend coming upon us. So thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you on Sunday live, 3 minutes.
Get him, Jay!